Welcome back, everybody. Episode 77 of the Lookout Podcast. I am Meelz. I am here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
What's going on,
man? I don't know. I've never been asked that. Damn. Why do you ask that? What's going on? Just doing a podcast with you, Avi.
Yeah, man.
Avi. Let's see. What have we got going on in the anime world, man? It's a great
time to be an anime fan, though. Manga, anime. Yeah, dude. Jujutsu's hitting. Demon Slayer's coming back.
Jujutsu had its dub. That was
I know. And I saw your tweet.
I
did. I saw your tweet say they sound exactly how you anticipated. And it's really, it was so funny because I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, yeah, this is exactly what I thought it'd sound.
Maybe it's an anime thing where everyone is just like playing really just a character of everyone's got what's the easiest way to say this? Actually, not even the easiest way. What's the smartest way to say this? Everyone's playing, I guess, I don't want to say stereotype, but it's kind of like everyone's playing the role of the characters that usually appear in every other anime.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the kind of like deep, kind of broody voice for
you already know.
And like the very like protagonist voice for Yuji Itadori. Like
they gotta make it work. Yeah,
Yeah, so it just is what it is. Shout out to everyone, I guess, who's all getting money on that cast. You're going to be getting money for quite a bit because that show is going to become popular as hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else have we got up here in the sleeve? First of all, it's Thanksgiving week, by the way. I don't know if you know this.
It's a little different this week, though. A little different of a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's a little, but you know what? Actually, I guess it's not different for me. I don't have a lot of family that we invite over or anything like that. It's usually just, it's pretty much the same thing, honestly. I mean, I don't like a lot of people in my face anyway, to be honest with you. But
it's an Aquarius thing.
However, I hope everyone at least can take some solace and just, spend some time. I mean, spend it if you're going to spend time with family, spend it responsibly, spend it safely. Check them motherfuckers as they walk in.
For real.
Get the little OD take their temperature. And like, yo, I'm not sure how much taking your temperature will do, but at least it'll give me solace. Like, all right, you're not wilding off the scales. Like, you're just like, but this entire year has been weird, except for us, because I guess we've been killing it from the Lookout standpoint. Let's get into actually a point of contention. It's Dragon Ball related, so it's got to be fun. I mean, every month, we talked about it last month, we're going to talk about it this month, but it seems like we finally, I don't even want to say it seems like we finally did. We've reached the end of the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, the Moro arc of Dragon Ball Super in the manga. If you're not caught up with the manga, you maybe want to skip a few minutes ahead.
Yeah, for
maybe
real.
I'll put it. You know what? I'll put a timestamp in the description of this of where we actually start the Dragon Ball Z stuff. So if you don't want to be spoiled, which some people just don't want to be spoiled for Dragon Ball Super, some people want to wait until Kingdom Come for whenever that anime comes back. It's we got some pretty things. So Moro's officially gone. He's dead.
He is dead.
They finally wiped him out. A wide array of mixed reactions, especially in our Discord, but a wide
happened.
of how it went down and stuff like that, especially with the bad taste they left in the last chapter with kind of just revisiting the old Cell Saga thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be in the minority. I think this ending is going to look really good when it's animated, and I don't think it's as bad as it is, as people, as at least our Discord, who is who pretty much at this point swearing off of Dragon Ball Super, is like, listen.
I see. I'm kind of with you a little bit, but I don't care for the ending from a manga standpoint, but I fully believe that it'll look really, really nice animated, and that's kind of where I stand with it. I think it's a big enough moment, but not seeing it animated.
Yeah, and you know what? It's going to be a similar thing that we're going to talk about in this episode, because we have a big event that happens in this episode too that even in the manga itself isn't as as big or maybe as dramatic, but when you get to the actual anime itself, it ends up kind of swelling, even though we have our own varying thoughts on this. It did its job. We've seen how many times in Dragon Ball kind of the same ending. So I think everyone's kind of sick of it to this point.
Right.
where Goku defeats it and blah blah blah, one shot, etc., etc. It's not an ending that's foreign to the series. It would have been foreign if Vegeta did it. If Vegeta did it, I'd have been like, oh shit.
Which is what people kind of. I know some people wanted it. They wanted Vegeta to have his day, but
he had a moment. He helped.
He did. He's per usual. He did help. I don't know. It's Dragon Ball. It's Dragon Ball though. Like I almost said Dragon Ball Z, but I mean it is Dragon Ball Z. Like these things are going to continue to happen. I think this way, and I don't know if they'll ever pull away from their main protagonist being the hero every time. And even when they did it kind of with Gohan, Goku was still the one ultimately. And I don't have a problem. Personally, I don't have a problem with it being Goku. I just want to see it animated, without giving any like major spoilers to it. Like I just think it's gonna.
Oh, just give away the spoilers. Who cares?
I think it's gonna pay off. The Gigantamax. I just think it's gonna. It's gonna pay off better.
Here's my. I absolutely agree with you, and I don't think it's meant to be taken literally as he grew giant and thing. I think it's legitimately just like something different that they chose to do with this, with kind of showcasing the amount of power that he has, or just kind of like the attack that it is.
When we see it, we're gonna be like, oh, he didn't like.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, oh, that's hard.
Right. I think people think he. Yeah. Like I think when we see it animated, it's gonna look clean. And it's just showing how massive power he had at that very moment.
It's gonna look like slow. It's gonna look like You ever seen The Mummy?
Yes, I've seen The Mummy.
It's gonna look like that ending scene, or maybe it was Scorpion King or The Mummy 2, or something along those lines, where it's just like that line thing, or even Aladdin. They even had that part in Aladdin too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't think it's meant to be taken literally as like he Gigantamax or something along those lines. I just think it's just showcasing the power that he had at this exact moment, and just kind of like it's a new way to showcase this actual punch. It's similar. I equate it to the Dragon Fist that he never fucking uses anymore.
I kind of hope that's basically what it is when we see it animated. And isn't it crazy how everyone wanted Ultra Instinct and wanted to continue to see it, and now everyone's like, well, I want another transformation. This is not.
I hope not. Let's build it out.
Yeah, let's build it out. Ultra Instinct is tight, man.
And
let's see like an Ultra Instinct 2 or 3 or whatever the case.
I don't even think so, because it's clear that he has not even fully mastered Ultra Instinct. Like he's getting better, but he hasn't fully mastered it as of yet. He's mastered kind of like the bare bones of it, even to a kind of ascended level, with working with mirrors and stuff like that. But it's clear that he hasn't fully accepted it yet. And then where does it go from there? But I think, you know what? We're bearing the lead here, because the most surprising part of that Dragon Ball Super chapter was the full-on introduction of in Dragon Ball Super to Oob.
I told y'all, man. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because you and I spoke about this when we were going over the tournament, and when Goku was trying to recruit, and then they told Goku, hey, I got this one kid, but he's too young right now, and they blah blah blah. Like I knew it was Oob then, but I just love that they called it back, and like they're finally putting him in the forefront, and he appears to be extremely important going forward, which is what everyone wants, because Oob has never really got the moment that we all wanted him to, because everyone thought Kid Buu was, cool as fuck. I mean, regardless of him being the antagonist, Kid Buu was awesome. He's an asshole. He's awesome. So for Oob to be reincarnated version, of course we wanted him to get his shot, and I'm glad they're just giving him this look, because I feel like he's gonna be a main focus moving forward.
And I think the new wrinkle in it is that they've like revealed that, he has this divine power, which is something completely different than everything else that we've explored in Dragon Ball Z or even Dragon Ball Super, because divine power is strictly a Dragon Ball Super sort of thing that was compounded on, and I guess it's just more of an intro way to be like, we're not just raising powers a lot more and getting super stronger. We're doing the thing like now Goku and Vegeta has divine power, but also Oob, who's an Earthling, has divine power, and that is because of his relationship with the Kai, and also Majin Buu, and also Kid Buu. Makes me wonder if actually Majin Buu has divine power. Now that I think about it, it was a great way to introduce that and give that look, and at least be like, okay, here we are. And divine power of the gods, something like that's going to play a major role moving forward. It just is. It puts him on a different level than everybody else immediately.
No,
and it gives him
amazing, dude.
Yeah, it gives him a completely different introduction from everybody else. I think
it separates them. That's what we needed. Because in order, if you don't do this, then you bring Uben on this story that doesn't really give him any value or strength, right? I mean, they hinted towards, hey, this kid is extremely powerful, or he's going to be extremely powerful. He just needs more training. He's just too young right now. But at that point, even when they told us that before the tournament, I'm just thinking, oh, well, Oob will have a little minor role. He'll be a cool character, whatever, call it a day. But this really puts him basically on the forefront, with the main guys, and it could be something special. It's incredible.
I agree. So I think we have that to look forward to, everyone, at least from Oob moving forward, and in the Dragon Ball Super manga, you at least have that to tune into. The Moro arc is over, so everyone's kind of figuring out where we're going to go from here, who's going to be the next villain, what is going to be the next arc, what is going to be established. There's a lot of things that's been hanging, especially since, Beerus and Whis have now to face the Grand Priest and be like, yo, you just had this Maris guy break the rules. What are you guys doing? So there's a whole bunch of things to establish moving forward. So at least it's kind of that. It's still not the best manga on earth. I agree. It's still very, but it's the only Dragon Ball content.
Right. So we'll take it, obviously.
Yeah. It's the only new Dragon Ball content that we have that's on a periodic basis. So it just is what it is. Speaking of also Dragon Ball content, we also have to give condolences to Kirby Morrow, voice actor for Goku. The early Goku in Dragon Ball Z, the early English dub, passed away sometime last week. Unfortunately, passed away at 47, which is incredibly young.
Yeah, that's super young, man.
But I mean, just our thoughts with his family, and just we thank you for everything that you've done, especially the lives that you've changed and the people who've watched you, especially when Dragon Ball comes to the United States. You really were part of that first group of pioneers to be like, okay, it's those voices that everyone kind of remembers and woke up with as a kid. So it's very, very important. It's very thing. It's
gotta
sad.
show our respect.
So it's it's sad. So rest in peace, Kirby Morrow, voice actor. I'm trying to see if there's any other anime news. I mean, the only other anime news is
you got Demon Slayer yet?
No, we don't have Demon Slayer yet. We don't even have the cam rip. We don't have nothing. It is ridiculous at this point.
It's awful. It's awful. Give us a date, man. Like
they just said.
Honestly, they should do a. I'll pay for it. I mean, honestly, they can put it on. They made people pay for. Disney made people pay to watch Mulan on HBO or on Disney Plus. I mean, I'll pay for this on like a streaming service to watch. Like they could put it on, Crunchyroll for like a value, like a base fee, and I will pay. So
I agree.
I don't know how they want to do it, but I'm all in.
Well, actually, it depends how much. It depends how much.
I don't think it's gonna be $30, or anything like that. But you know what I mean. I'm willing to spend some bread to watch it.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Ooh, wait a minute now. I'm looking at. I just saw something online. Someone posted a picture that the My Hero Academia Season 5 dubbing work is going step by step. They legitimately have people in a giant studio standing multiple feet away from each other.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's I'll send you it right now.
How many years away are we from seeing Dabi's Todoroki reveal?
2022. So actually not that long.
Yeah,
it's not long at all. It's not long at all. Dubbing work is going step by step. Up to 7 people can work together, as shown in the first pic. However, directors are 7x4. It is required to repeat 4 times, so it requires 4 times as much concentration. 2 people bowed out before. Damn, that's crazy. So dubbing we're trying to figure it out in this new world, and we're trying to figure it out, and hopefully we can at least get that. Also, 2 weeks from now, Attack on Titan Season 4. It is the most anticipated return for an anime in years. It's almost here. I'm not sure if you're any more excited, but it's almost here.
I'm only a season away from being caught up, so I may be ready. If not, I'll just have to catch up.
Okay. All right. Listen,
I'm on jujitsu like crazy. The past 2 episodes have been really awesome. So
listen, talk about it, bro.
Love it. I love it. I really do.
Let's get into the lookout. Let's get into what we're talking about this week, because we have a big episode this week, especially coming from us 90s kids who used to watch the show. I have an interesting way of kind of how I want to do this episode, because pretty much what we're covering is the first act of the final fight of this arc. It's Goku versus Frieza. It's the main event. It is everything that the series has kind of built up towards, to be honest with you, especially from the beginning of, I want to say the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, but it's pretty much the ultimate fight. Everything that happens in Dragon Ball is because Frieza did the things that he did.
Yeah, I mean, Super Saiyan in general, I think, is what made Z really cool. Like, I know that we had a lot of things leading up to this moment that was like, okay, this show is gonna make it. This is nice, but Super Saiyan is like culture. Like, it's real culture shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's another reason why this fight is just so important, because we see it for the first time.
I mean, I have my thoughts about it, especially I'll talk about it. I think we should talk about it definitely as us watching as kids and the experience back then. And not to say that people just haven't had that experience, but we can at least kind of look at it from, because I have a much more tainted lens now in terms of just like looking at it. Like,
different now. Yeah.
This is kind of long.
A tad bit underwhelming, but it's okay.
It was long. It was long also before, but it's just, you know, you had that built-in anticipation. So I actually want to ask you, let's go on last time on the lookout. Last time on the lookout, the battle against Frieza waged on. Vegeta, who thought he would be able to compete against him, finds out that he is horribly outmatched in the situation and is killed. Despite the massive build to this moment throughout the arc, it is tragedy the way Vegeta is killed at the end of sort of the last episode. Goku arrives on the scene in the nick of time, undoubtedly the hero, and this is the fight that we've been waiting for. It's Goku versus Frieza on Namek. They pretty much have the whole planet to themselves at this point.
It's like the only time this ever happens.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's even a major thing in itself, like a fight worth battling on a pretty much discarded planet.
Not worried about anything,
it happens even more in, I guess, Act 2 of this fight, which we'll talk about next week. But just having just the stakes itself, we've seen so many battles, especially in Dragon Ball, kind of take place in these like very small places, you know, tournaments, little field, et cetera, even Dragon Ball Z up to this point, it's like all these battles. Oh, it's on Earth, but it's kind of like in just like this canyon. So it's not really like you're all over the Earth. No, these guys are fighting through mountains and all these other stuff. It's the scale continues to grow throughout Dragon Ball Z, and it only gets bigger as we move forward. This fight lasts 18 episodes in the anime. 18 episodes. We got them about, I want to say 4 days out of the 5 days a week. I'm not sure if we got things on Friday.
I think Tsunami. So, right? It just wasn't Saturday, I think. No, maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like we didn't get stuff Friday, but I could be wrong. But either way, that's about 3 weeks as well. In terms of, and this is just the fight until we build up to the Super Saiyan moment. So to think about this, the Goku and Frieza fight, the first act of this fight is 18 episodes.
Goodness gracious, dude.
The first kind of,
Incredible, bro.
Well, no, the first act, I would say, you know what? I wouldn't say, is it 18 episodes? It is actually, I'm going to say the entire Frieza fight thus far. Let's say that. 18 episodes until we get to this major moment. It is one of the longest head-on fights in anime history, that I have to say. It just is. It is I don't think you look at any other anime and see a fight that has gone on this long. Maybe, actually.
I mean, if there was, it probably wasn't as worth it.
No.
Really, I mean, 18 is a lot.
I think maybe when we get to, gosh, I want to say My Hero, because the way this fight has gone down, it's lasted a fuck ton of time. Like I said, the longest head-on fight in anime history. I can't think of one longer. I can't think of one that's more meaningful to the series. The way it's kind of built up and everything, the undertones, the layers, the the history, the deaths, everything that's kind of lined up to this point has really kind of like made the way, crossed the path. There's no distractions. There's no other contenders. It is literally Goku and Frieza, unmatched, the only ones.
Legendary shit, right? Really, to be honest. And I like that you said, looking at this from the level of when we were kids, because when I watch this now, all I really see, I'm looking at it from everything that I've seen. So Super, GT, Dragon Ball, and then watching it again now, and then not to mention, everything that we saw outside of Dragon Ball, other anime. So when we watched this originally, there wasn't that many of a list to kind of judge this on and look at it on and be like, oh, this is cool. This is, if this came out today, I mean, I'm sure it would be exciting still, something new, but I don't know if it had the same impact. So going back and looking on it, how we did this time around, it just really, it's legendary, man. Cause you forget a lot of things. And you and I have been avoiding Frieza Saga anyways for a minute, cause we knew we would eventually touch it. So,
right. It is the penultimate fight. And quite honestly, I mean, there's interviews out there of people who worked on the show itself who agree that the show should have ended after this fight. Because quite honestly, it's really the basis of the entire thing. The Goku doesn't reach the Earth unless Planet Vegeta is destroyed by Frieza. We don't know that in Dragon Ball. We don't know any of those reasons. It's actually a great way to leave us hanging. I don't know how you do 181 episodes and people are still like, but why did he reach there?
Right.
Is it a Superman thing, or because the entire story is kind of like based on the Superman concept? And then you get to the Dragon Ball Z arc and you find out like, oh, not only that, they're Saiyans and they have Saiyans that ancient heritage, but their race has been wiped out. They're currently the ones that are remaining are working under Frieza, et cetera, et cetera. Now the ones who are working under Frieza finally want to rebel in honor of their entire race. And that is kind of where it goes. And we built up to this fight thus far. Goku versus Frieza, the fight itself. I remember watching it as a kid. I remember just kind of, wow, this is kind of it. But even as a kid, I would still think this is kind of long. Because there was various episodes that are kind of just like focused on different things. And don't get me wrong, they stretch this out. And one of the reasons why they stretch it out actually is because I believe the manga was only 3 months ahead of the episode. So because of that, we got a lot of filler. The whole Kinkai, Ginyu Force sort of thing was filler. The whole Bulma turns into Captain Ginyu was filler. It's an anime exclusive. Both of those are anime exclusive things that from what I've read, they incorporated into the show to kind of stall for time because they were still writing the actual manga. They're only 3 months behind. So imagine you going week by week. You're just like, oh wow, shit. We're almost caught up. How'd that happen?
I couldn't imagine being 17, 18, 16 years old when this first happened. Like, I'd probably be losing my mind. Absolutely. I mean, I was losing my mind anyways, but almost being an adult watching this, man, that probably had to be the talk of the town, bro.
How do you feel about, it was the talk of the town when we were kids. I mean,
I know, but
Frieza.
I would have loved to be 16, 17, when this was happening.
Can I say this? I remember specifically, this had to be either third grade or fourth grade or fifth grade or something along those lines. It's definitely fifth grade. I want to say it's fifth grade. I remember getting up and I had to use the bathroom in class. And it's like, teacher, I need to use the bathroom. And it's like, take the whole pass. And then my other friend who was a student said, hey, I also need the bathroom. And they were like, okay, you guys go together. So we're walking down with the hall pass, sharing it together. And we're just randomly talking. And I remember specifically said, yo, did you see the new episode of Dragon Ball Z yesterday? And I was like, yes, oh my God. And we talked about the weird, wildest thing. We talked about Piccolo's kick. Piccolo coming out of off screen and like really jet setting down there as Goku's holding up the spirit bomb. Right. Piccolo comes in with the kick and kicks Frieza seemingly clear across the planet was just, it was incredible enough for that moment to at least to be talked about us and just like, and then we shared that moment about Dragon Ball forever and ever and all this other stuff. And we talk about Dragon Ball every day after that. But it was really at that time, I mean, it was probably one of the most important things on TV. It was it. It just really was.
It really mattered. Like, it really mattered. Truly.
Yeah, it absolutely did. This fight starts off, as most fights in Dragon Ball Z do, with posturing. Feeling one another out. What are your thoughts on fights and like, oh, we're feeling each other out? Because they do that a lot.
Oh yeah, that's Dragon Ball. Yeah. I don't mind it. If it's to build characters, and to kind of build anticipation for the main event of the fight, I'm all for it. It's not something that I dislike. Unless the dialogue overpowers the fight, which does happen in some animes and in a lot of cases. I think, the Hunter x Hunter, Miriam Netero, I think the dialogue was somewhat heavier than the actual fight, but the fight was still great. But these things happen, like I have to have a nice level of both. So if it's to build anticipation for the final, the climax, I'm all for it. Dragon Ball Z does it a lot. So it's hard for me to judge it and not like be like, oh, I hate it, because I don't know. Like, I look at it like, damn, these things happen in Dragon Ball all the time. Dragon Ball Z, GT for that matter, Super, Dragon Ball, like it's been happening. So, I'm used to it from the series. You know what I'm saying?
I just hate that they lean on it so much to extend these fights. Just because it's like, okay, the posturing, yes, but the world is on the line. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're not trying to. They
could have taken 10 episodes off this for sure, if not more.
I know. I mean, I gotta give props to, and we haven't talked about it on the series of eps, but I gotta give it props to Dragon Ball Kai. Dragon Ball Kai is great.
Yeah.
It is a great run through.
Really is. Yeah.
If you're trying to speed through this without all the fluff and all the filler, I mean, the filler can be charming at some points. The filler can also like be annoying at some points. I'm talking more so like annoying, like running down Snake Way, but also charming, like, okay, the 3 Goofus who died and are on the planet and figuring out their lives, or Goku learning how to drive or something along those lines. Like, filler can be charming in some points, but also it can be a drag. But Dragon Ball Kai has none of that. It kind of still makes it all work. Like Dragon Ball Kai, I watched a Dragon Ball Kai episode of the transformation at last, and it actually fuses in 2 episodes into one.
Which is it's like how it needed to be, really. They realized it. I think that's why Kai exists.
Yeah, Kai is closer to the manga more than anything. I think they were just like, okay, let's stay closer to the manga. But in the beginning of the fight, there's a lot of posturing. Goku manages to get an advantage on Frieza. They're evenly matched for some reason. It's crazy how much power levels jump in this show, where Goku can be like a max of 180,000.
That gravity, man. That gravity training, bro.
No, but he even after the gravity training, he's a max of 180. It's like, oh, Ginyu's like shit in his pants. He's a max of 180. Man. What am I supposed to do with 180? Man. He gets beat up once, heals, and now he's like 3.5 million.
Yeah, bro, that's saying shit, bro. That's saying shit.
That's why Frieza hates him so goddamn much.
Yeah, he knew.
Frieza reveals that not only is this his 3rd transformation, but he's only using 1% of this transformation.
Yeah.
So
how do you even like level that off? Like, how can you? You gotta be pretty talented, though. Like, I'm just gonna use 1%.
1% of this, whatever. It was cap. I agree.
He was just bullshitting.
But he powers up to 50% of his overall power and begins decimating Goku, despite Goku even utilizing Kaioken. Like, Kaioken just became nothing really quickly. Like the attack of it, and this is Goku's first full-length fight since the Vegeta fight. So it's not like we've seen him really do anything before, but Kaioken just kind of becomes quickly nothing. It was just like, oh, times 20. And even in Super, I hate how it's combined with Super Saiyan God Blue.
Isn't it weird? Like, why is he using this?
Yeah, I was like,
huh? He just likes the colors. He was like,
I guess so. But I'm like, you're Super Saiyan already. What the hell are you using Kaioken? And why haven't you used it before in any other Super Saiyan forms? Like,
would that help? There's always some excuse. If I do it with Super Saiyan 3, I'll explode.
Because of my divine power, I'm able to use Kaioken and Super Saiyan is just rage and shit, like, or some shit like that. I don't know.
They come up with something,
there are several moments through this fight. We won't go through the fight scene by scene because honestly, it's 7 episodes and it kind of drags between Frieza getting an advantage. There's points where Frieza doesn't want to use his hands. There's points where Goku realizes that Frieza can't sense energy and starts throwing energy balls from underwater. Like, there's a whole bunch of things, but I think one of the most critical moments, there's a moment where there's naked Vegeta. And
is that what we're going to right now?
Of course, naked Vegeta, Bardock, and King Vegeta, who try to will on Goku throughout the fight to avenge the death of the Saiyans. And obviously it's important because Frieza decimated the Saiyans, and he's like, oh, give him what's coming to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the real only true-blooded Saiyan left.
Yeah.
But Goku's like, but I don't know how to be a Saiyan. I grew up on Earth.
You are one. You are a Saiyan.
And they're like trying to convince him, like, yo, but you're a Saiyan. The blood runs through you. Like, don't ignore it. Like,
so was that like a conscience moment, or were they really speaking to this nigga?
I don't know, because it didn't seem to have a major effect on the fight, in my opinion. It had a major effect on a moment. It made him kind of like readjust and be like,
I should have pride in my heritage,
or I should take this fight a lot more seriously.
I get that, but I figured he'd get that from Vegeta's death. I mean, that's kind of what they played upon. I don't think they had to have that conversation.
He had that full conversation. I don't know if they invaded his mind. I don't know if it's like been seeping in his
Where
mind.
Are they?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, where does this kind of come from? Goku's never met doesn't even remember his father. Doesn't even remember what he looks like, but knows what he looks like in his thought. But,
Oh, that's my dad.
Yeah, that's the beauty of animation. It's not a real show. However, it's just like, I never got that moment because I always felt like it would have been great if they built up the Goku accepting more so of his Saiyan heritage at that point. And I don't think he fully accepts it until like the end of Z. Like, remember the fight against Boo's? Like, you gotta remember, we can't just, live by our forefathers. We gotta essentially.
I remember that shit.
We gotta make our new path, and
it took him so long to even say some shit like that. Everything that he is because he's a Saiyan. He just figuring this out now.
The tail, everything. I don't know. Goku begins to set up the Spirit Bomb.
The Spirit.
What are our thoughts on this new Spirit Bomb? It's different than the original Spirit Bomb.
It is different than the original Spirit Bomb. This is the Spirit Bomb that we find so deadly in my eyes.
I remember as a kid just being like,
it's a boring move though. I will say that.
He was raising his hands like, oh, he's sending for the Spirit Bomb. And I'm like, a fucking course that's the Spirit Bomb. Like,
we know.
It's the Spirit Bomb. Like, oh my God, the ultimate move. Like, beyond like the Kamehameha, it's like, of course he sent up for the fucking Spirit Bomb. Like, it's the ultimate move. It's the one that, and I'm just looking at it like,
I don't care for the Spirit Bomb, like, overall. It's a boring move.
Stall. It's a stall. It was a stall technique. It's seemingly
what
stalling.
What else am I gonna do?
Raise your hands.
Use the Spirit
collecting
Bomb.
All the energy. At that point,
what if I had something to do that day? What if I had something to do that day and Goku's taking my energy?
I feel like you have to. Yeah, you're right. It's really weird in terms of like, do you give up your energy or
bro? I got work today, man. I got 9 to 5, Goku.
Especially because of now Super, where Vegeta has like the inverse Spirit Bomb where he like takes energy and just like uses it upon his own will.
Yeah, bro. It's so foul.
It's a great ultimate move. I think it's a great visual. So it's like, okay, this massive bomb, and he's using everything from, at that time it says there's text that says the galaxy, there's text that says the universe. I can't vouch for the entire universe, but who knows? But I want to say that entire galaxy, that whatever Namek is in, he's using energy from all of that. And you see this giant, like, white shit just like floating towards the planet. It's like, oh my God, we got one more group of energy just coming towards it. It's coming slow and et cetera, and it finally reaches there. And Goku grabs enough energy. But there's stalling techniques. Piccolo shows up to try the thing.
The same Spirit Bomb shit you always get, Somebody.
I need 1 minute.
Please. Sometimes that 1 minute is 2 episodes. Just depends.
Frieza grabs Piccolo's shoulder and just clenches it, and he's like, I don't think I gotta admit it in me, bro. I don't think I gotta admit it in me.
Yo, Frieza really
on the ground.
Frieza's one of my favorite antagonists because he's so straightforward with the shit that he does. There's actually a moment we're gonna talk about when after the Spirit Bomb. It's just really funny, man.
I think this entire fight kind of makes you it makes you more so than any other point in this entire series. And I think at that point in the series, you see how ruthless Frieza was. And maybe you fell in love with that, but it was kind of showcasing the ruthlessness of the character. I don't think you fall in love. I don't think you get I think I like Frieza as much as during this fight when you hear all the dialogue, see what happens when he's backed up into a corner, when you get kind of the full entire range.
This is the most personality that we've gotten from anybody in the series. I think Frieza's personality,
and it still is, to be honest with you.
Still, he's the most flamboyant, arrogant. Just his personality is so live, and like you said, still all the way to
they have not made a better villain than Frieza to this day. It just hasn't happened yet. Because Frieza is so, and it's really because most of the villains last an arc. They last a saga. They last something. But Frieza's entire existence, because the entire series kind of hedges on what Frieza did 20-something years ago. Yeah. Without a lot of things, things didn't happen. Without Frieza, a lot of things in this entire show doesn't happen. And when they explain that, and when they get that across, and when they really go through kind of how everything is built and what his role is played into it, with the whole backstory and all the other stuff, you'd be like, damn, he's that guy. Legitimately. He is the ultimate villain in Dragon Ball. There is no other one. As cool as the other one is, as much as we're fans of everybody else, as much as we're friends of Cell.
We love Cell. You know how I feel about Cell.
I know how you feel about Cell. As much as everything is, Cell wasn't brought back. Blue wasn't brought back. None of them were brought back, but Frieza still holds a place because they haven't done it better since then. And now it's kind of interesting. I'm wondering if I truly believe we'll get another Frieza arc in Super.
There's definitely there's absolutely another Frieza moment coming between him and Goku.
The fact that they wedged him into the Broly movie, and I don't want to say wedged because he's a major part of that movie, but the fact that he's in that movie, but he was never even part of the original.
I also think Goku doesn't really I think he sees him as a threat, but Goku, he likes to, you did this for me, so I'll do this for you type thing. And I think they even they sneak it in hey, they'll clash again. They did it in the Broly movie. He did some jackass shit, and Goku still basically let him ride. And they'll turn around. I'm curious about Frieza's next step too. I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I know Frieza's got something new. I'm sure that they're planning as well. So,
his Frieza Force is considerably, it's down. It's down compared to where it was before. So I think he's recouping the Frieza Force. I think he's like, yo, I'm gonna stay on this side of the galaxy. Nah, no new Ginyu. The Ginyus can stay where they are at, I think. But I do think Frieza in the future, because he's just such a critical part to this entire series. He's just a critical part. And they haven't made a villain that's better. Just visually how he looks. And I know we talk about visual a lot, but he just the complete dichotomy against what Goku and Vegeta and everyone kind of looks at. He looks evil.
He does.
He acts evil.
His voice, the raspy, feminine but yet manly voice, it's really hard to it's not there's no other voice for you,
right? And they've given him even sort of an arc. You talk about the tournament of power thing, the whole anti-hero kind of thing. It wasn't really anti-hero. He's kind of an asshole at the end of the day, but because he was on the good guys team, he's flirting with okay, could we like Frieza a little bit?
Something I can get used to.
We liked his I think more so we liked his relationship compared to everyone else on that team, and how he added this like chaos to the team, like internal chaos. Like if they had added Boo, everything would be all hunky dory. Like oh shit, someone might turn Super Saiyan, someone might not. I don't know. Boo might ascend, he might not. He might sleep, he might not. But Frieza added this level of chaos, and it's because of his character. And I think his character is truly fleshed out. And throughout this moment right here, Goku gathers enough energy for the Spirit Bomb. There's a whole thing. I mean, Piccolo, he can't hold on anymore. Krillin and Gohan shoot their last shot against Frieza. Frieza's like, yo, I'm about to blow everything up.
I'm tired of this.
And the Spirit Bomb is done, and it begins coming down, and it is a great visual. It looks like an embryo or something along those lines. That's all I could do.
There's something in the center.
Like a cell, yeah.
Yeah.
A cell or an embryo or something that I learned in biology at the same time when I was watching this as a kid. And I just remember as a kid watching that moment of like Frieza. At this point, I knew we were getting the Super Saiyan. I just didn't know how. I didn't know how the fight ended. I didn't know anything. I think all after the fact I read how, especially after the Super Saiyan moment that we're about to talk about right now. But I think all after the fact is when I really began hip and just would get on the websites. I would actually go to the library because I didn't have internet in my house and read stuff and print out stuff and draw stuff and all this other stuff like that. That's how I knew about Boo. That's how I knew about a whole bunch of other things. But I didn't really know much would happen here, but I knew we were heading towards Super Saiyan.
Right.
Because Super Saiyan is so... As notable as Goku is, Super Saiyan.
You know what Super Saiyan
the blonde
is.
hair.
Your mother knows what Super Saiyan is.
Absolutely.
It's that major.
And a lot of the transformation... Oh, fuck it. Let's get into this fucking Super Saiyan shit. He fires it at Frieza. Frieza tries to hold it off as much as he can. He's just like, yo, this is nothing. I can't do this. And eventually it overtakes him and it kills him. Kills him, but it overtakes him. And it appears to be that he has been destroyed. And can I say that I love the moment afterwards. Wow, massive trade. I have shams on the thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, there's a lot of people in this trade.
I see it.
But however, listen to RSPN every Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Before you hear the show, you hear RSPN and everything about it. However, I love the scene afterwards of kind of like that calm. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, this is my favorite part. This is what I wanted to talk to you about because everyone's so happy. Gohan, get to see Mom, and Krillin's giggling, and Goku's relieved, and he's like limping.
I like the first part before that, where it's just Krillin and Gohan looking off into the distance, like,
oh, worried if Goku got caught in it.
Yeah, or like what happens next. There's like a level of uncertainty to that kind of like gaze and how that episode ends. If you're watching the actual original dub and not like Kai or anything like that, or there's an uncertainty of like the episode ends, they're looking off into the distance. It's just like ocean and water, but they're the only two ones that seemingly are like on this planet.
Yeah,
like it looks like an empty planet.
Yeah.
And then the next episode is like Piccolo begins to emerge from the water. He's carrying Goku and the whole, everything that we just talked about, everything that you just talked about. I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm so glad. And it just seems happy for a moment.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Cell actually really did die, when Cell actually didn't die. It was kind of similar. I remember Gohan was they were talking to Gohan. Gohan was still in Super Saiyan 2, where they were like talking to him.
They've done this many times, my friend.
Really do. Oh man, I'm so glad it's all over. Let's go home. And then like Cell comes back and
they did that when Cell.
That's actually what happened here. Now that I'm thinking about it.
That's absolutely what you talk about. Boo. Remember when Boo blew himself up?
Yeah,
and then became stronger.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
That's the exact same thing happened here. They love the false finish.
The false finish.
However, it is It's just great. I mean, I think this moment, it's a great kind of like release, and I can't imagine reading the manga at this point and be like, yo, it's over. It's finally over. And it feels like a sense of calm. And it feels like your whole spirit, like the music that's playing and just kind of the whole visual and everyone kind of being at ease for the first point. It's the first time in this entire arc they're at ease. They don't have to run from people killing them. They don't have to find Dragon Balls. All they got to do at this point is get everyone off, get off the planet. It is the first time I think Gohan can properly say things to his own father since the beginning of Z.
Right.
Like, with everything that's happened with Goku dying and then Gohan having to go to another planet, he's like, yo, we can finally be normal again. This is amazing.
This is nice.
Frieza's alive, though.
You
can't keep a bad bitch down.
You really can't. All you saw was Krillin shaking, and all of a sudden he looks up. Frieza just sitting on top of a mountain like Simba.
It's the three toes.
It wasn't three toes. It clipped over
the wet.
The wet toes gripping onto the rocks. And I was like, "Oh, that's Frieza. That's Frieza right there."
So there are multiple ways of how this goes down. In the anime, Frieza takes aim at Goku, and Piccolo pushes him out the way and takes the shot himself.
Takes the death beam to the chest.
Frieza fires the shot at Piccolo, hits him through the chest.
You know what? I like that better.
And Piccolo collapses on Goku.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, that's kind of like
that version better, to be honest with you.
He collapses on
Go
Goku.
Straight to the Namekian right there.
Goku. Right? Imagine that. The stress of just spending 2 wishes to wish this guy back.
And I knew it. I knew they made a mistake. Then this guy's 2 people. Piccolo just killed 2 Namekians. I mean, Frieza just killed 2 Namekians.
At the same time?
Same time, man. 2 birds, 1 stone. Love it.
Boom. Eventually we find out that Piccolo's not dead, but
at
the time, it seems like, listen, he hit the ground pretty hard.
It looked bad. It didn't look good.
And he's not moving. It looks eerily similar to things that we've seen before. And yes, Gohan is, once again, he can't, he might have turned Super Saiyan at that point. I mean, yo, you got it in you. You know what I'm saying? You got the amount of S cells in you, by all means, bro.
S cells? Is that, did you just make that up?
No, we'll talk about S cells. Of course we got to talk about S cells.
S cells.
So, from that point, Goku, let's Gohan and Krillin know. Get off the planet. You need to leave now. Take the ship, find Bulma somewhere, and get off the planet. And Frieza's like, oh, y'all think I'm just gonna let you guys go? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Frieza grabs Krillin with his psychic powers, because of course he's also Mewtwo at the same time.
I'm about to say, shout out Mewtwo. I'm sure Mewtwo was a little inspired by this as well.
Of course. Listen, Frieza, the ultimate inspiration.
That's my favorite part.
I would not be surprised. Yeah, he grabs Krillin, throws him up in the air, and just kind of...
He just implodes him.
Krillin
disintegrates, but like, I just like when right before the explosion, and you just see Krillin's kind of body just like, I mean, it's awful, but like,
you are awful. Yes, you are.
It's the best part. Like, he just boom, and it just
help me,
go.
And then it's not even like blood. It's just like smoke and like dust and shit. It's like it made me wonder what he was made out of.
Chill out.
It's just like smoke and like
dust. This Saiyan armor, a little disintegrate.
All this other stuff. So he explodes.
That shit's so funny, bro. I don't know why, but Goku didn't like that shit though. So
Goku didn't like it at all. Goku's like, but here's the thing. And we're gonna let's talk about this moment. Because it's the grand Super Saiyan moment. This is the moment that we've been heading for. This is the moment that we're talking about. We're finally talking about it here. It's 50-something minutes into the episode. I'm glad we discussed this beforehand, because we have the same thought about this, and we have an incredibly hot take, and I'm not sure how many people actually agree with this. The Super Saiyan transformation was incredibly underwhelming.
It really was, man. And I know that that thought is responsible for everything that we have seen thus far, because seeing it originally,
and everything afterwards, honestly,
right? And seeing it again, it's really not. Man, it sounds so bad. It's really not that special to me. I just feel like it was. I don't know. The groans weren't loud enough. It wasn't theatrical enough. Not enough colors. I did like the lightning strikes and all that, and
lightning strike was hard.
Lightning strikes was hard. I did like the hair kind of, bright, but then it was like it was done, and then he was like in a different stance.
Yeah,
and that was it. And it was kind of weird to me. I was like, I would have liked a little bit more earth shaking. Maybe make Gohan jump away. I did like how Goku reacted to Gohan right afterwards, but to me, the transfer it's just underwhelming a little bit, man. There's been a lot better. I think we rate it upon history and like how historic it was.
Of course. It's one of the most historical things ever, to be honest with you.
Right.
We put up the post on the Lookout page a couple months ago because it was we're on our way to the 30th anniversary of this moment. So the 30th anniversary of Super Saiyan is on the way. We look at it, and of course we look at it in awe because it's legitimately the most monumental in the grand scheme of things. The build to it is amazing, especially since how much they've talked about the legendary Super Saiyan. It is the thing that Gru has even talked about it. Vegeta, at many times, incorrectly named himself a Super Saiyan. It is a legend amongst the Saiyan community. None of them had actually saw it because it only happened once in 1,000 years. So it grows to be a legend, as opposed to being like, oh, this is this thing to be attained. It grows to be this legend, and we finally get the second one in over 1,000 years, and it just is what it is. It's so compact with the stories. That's why this story should have ended after this moment, quite honestly. But niggas gotta sell toys. Let's talk about Super Saiyan for a moment, because this is the game changer to Z.
Yes.
I think everything after this with Z becomes just different in the way it's treated, in the way, it is immediately, legitimately after this, it is a once in 1,000 year thing. And it takes a lot to get to this moment, and it takes a lot of rage. And one thing I would have changed was, you see all that naked Vegeta and all this other stuff like that, I would have incorporated that into this moment. I would have incorporated a lot more history into this moment. I would have incorporated Goku as a child, learning how to think and seeing kind of how everything is on the line at this point, and how much anger and rage that he's gotten up to this point, and how it's kind of bubbling over it, or how it has been bubbling over for the past couple, things.
Right.
And seeing what's really on the line and seeing what he has to do, and that kind of being the catalyst for the ultimate transformation.
Yeah, the Krillin thing definitely was the reason that kind of it just pushed him, and they display that immediately. I think after Krillin dies, Goku's already facing the other way, and like just in like pure anger. And you had Gohan's looking up and just watching the dust and Krillin's pieces falling, but Goku's turned around and he you can tell something's already going on. Another thing that confused me, I'm sure, like, when I saw the name of this episode as a kid, I was probably like, God damn, Frieza's about to transform again? Like,
oh, really? No, I knew this was it.
No, I'm just saying, like, the people that didn't know are probably like, damn, man, don't tell me Frieza's about to.
Listen, transform at last. I knew it was it. They spoil a lot of things in the episode names. I knew this was it. No, I knew 100% this was it. I think just me, I remember watching it as a kid. It had to be the highest rated thing on fucking television.
Had to be.
Because, listen, especially every day they do the next time on Dragon Ball Z, and you got to see everything that happens, and you see like, oh, Frieza's still alive and all this other shit like that. And it had to be one of the most highest rated things, because it was everything that the series built up towards was for this moment to kind of ascend to the next level against the person who had destroyed everything. The Super Saiyan transformation after this, it becomes like, oh, it's a legendary thing. But then when Trunks shows up and does it in like 5 seconds and kills Frieza, and also like 45 seconds afterwards.
Guess everybody can do this shit.
Yeah. It's just, it just is what it is. It's
We're literally talking like Vegeta, like when Vegeta found out.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, that was That was cool.
You remember that? Vegeta had the mental breakdown?
Of course. Super Saiyan. First of all, you know what? We'll talk about it in the next episode. Vegeta's initial reaction to like Super Saiyan is like, "You dog, you bot. I knew you could." But secretly like seething all after the fact.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to talk about Super Saiyan and how we got here, and everything that is kind of like listed in like what is actual Super Saiyan. So,
what is
of course,
Super Saiyan? Huh?
We go to Dragon Ball Wiki, of course. So, Super Saiyan is an advanced transformation assumed by members and hybrids of the Saiyan race with a sufficient amount of S cells.
So S cells is a real thing, huh?
S cells 100% a real thing. Akira Toriyama said it himself.
So Broly has a wild amount of S cells?
He has a large amount of S cells. S cells. All right, let's talk about. So here's the thing: when they incorporated S cells into it, I guess it was to make it make more sense, but also you took the legendariness out of it.
No, I agree, because something legendary doesn't happen because of there's no real reason for something legendary.
If no one has been able to do this for 1,000 years, was everyone SL deficient for 1,000 years?
Yeah, is the blood really that good?
I'm going to leave it at that because it's really underwhelming.
Yeah, it's not as exciting as I thought the S cells would be, because now that it tells me, so every Saiyan has S cells, and but they also said every Saiyan can go Super Saiyan. But
every Saiyan can go Super Saiyan. Yeah.
But they also say you need a lot of S cells to go Super Saiyan. I don't understand what's happening.
You need a high power level to go Super Saiyan, is what they're saying.
Does your S cells increase in power level?
Yes.
Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah. So it just is what it is. But Super Saiyan is not supposed to be about that, man. That's why the series shouldn't.
Goten and Gohan are half Saiyans and Trunks.
But they have a higher power level.
Well, that's true. Okay,
they have an incredibly high power level for their age. Yeah,
their S cells developed way higher. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess.
Listen, I'm not as thrilled about it as you are. However, I will say this: I think, first of all, this explanation takes a complete win out of everything with Super Saiyan. It just does. It kind of because it takes out the legendary aspect of it and like what is actually needed to. And I guess it's still like an anime kind of anger and, resentment and redemption and all this other stuff built to this moment where he crossed to the new level. But that's okay that anger and thing can get you there. That's okay that an intense feeling of emotion and it's like the power of friendship type of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like something within anime that's just like we're okay with because it is in the grander scheme of the story. And I think that's where Super Saiyan, that's why this moment was so important, because it was a massive build and a massive, beyond Goku just being angry, it was obviously an overflow of anger and emotion that triggered this transformation because he had nothing in him left. And that was great for the story. I want to say that was great.
For sure. Absolutely.
So the whole SL thing, I'm not a proponent of it. I don't like bringing it up. I don't like
I didn't know about it, so that's dope. But I don't really just the fact that I didn't know about it makes it cool for me, but I don't really care for it after you explained it.
Absolutely. It is beyond this. This moment is one of the most important moments in anime. It just is.
Yeah, no matter if you rewatch it and think it's underwhelming like me or Meelz or whatever, we still know the importance of it for sure.
Goku turning Super Saiyan changed the game in so many different ways. I mean, I think that's one of the moments that prolonged the series. It's kind of like, okay, so where does he go next? You establish this new power, but you're just going to end it here? You can't end it here. Robots. Come on. Something. But it's the legend of the Super Saiyan. It just, I have no more words to say. I think we've talked about it enough, but this is a moment. This is 100% a moment. This is everything as a kid that we waited for. Thousands of kids on YouTube screaming. It was like, I'm going to turn Super Saiyan and just screaming loudly.
Oh man, I used to do it, disrespectfully. Yeah, I do it to the point where I'm close to a whooping. You know what I mean? So, yeah, been there, done that, man. Good time.
is just part of the culture. I mean, we take it for granted now, but it was a great, in terms of this entire arc, it told a great story and it weaves it perfectly. And now we're at the point where Goku has turned Super Saiyan. He has ascended to the next level. This is Frieza's biggest fear ever, by the way. He heard about the legendary of Super Saiyans. He went to Beerus and said, "Can I blow this up?" And Beerus is like, "Yo, they turned Super Saiyan over there? I don't want none part of that. Blow that shit up.
Let it go, yeah.
And let it rip." You know what I'm saying? And he certainly did. And now he has to stare at a Super Saiyan right in his face. It's just coming. It's just coming. His day is coming. And that's all I can say. It takes beyond his day is coming, it takes several days to get to the day that his day is coming. The amount of episodes that we have to go through. All right, so boom. That is the end of this episode. Next episode, obviously, will be the conclusion of this Goku and Frieza fight, including with all the shenanigans of like wishing back with one set of Dragon Balls to make sure you have the dragon back, and then wishing back with another set of Dragon Balls to make sure that they get to this place where you can control the Dragon Balls, and then Goku's race across the spaceship, and whether he lives or not.
That's it, yeah.
So, you know, we got a whole bunch of things we're going to discuss. That will be the end of the Frieza saga, but we still, ultimately, it'll be the end. We have one more episode after that, which is going to be a special thing. So we'll let you guys know next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, you can follow the Lookout at the Lookout RNC. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, etc., etc. You can follow us a bunch of different places. So make sure you follow the podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you follow us anywhere. Gosh, what else? Oh, have a great Thanksgiving, by the way.
Yeah, man. Man, if you're with your family, don't go too crazy. If you have a big family, I'm not telling you how to live your life and spend your Thanksgiving, but, you know, try to social distance and be as cool as possible. And, yeah, like Meelz said, I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving, and, hope you guys got your PS5s. You can relax. Don't let your little cousins play it without authorization. Yeah, that's it.
All right, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay ready for the next episode, and we'll be back. Take care.
Yeah.